Hello, welcome to Tech Savvy Talk. I'm Tanya Borisova, and in today's episode we will talk about the future of data, Utopia or Dystopia. The choice is ours. I'm here with Aleksandrina Murdzheva and Nikolay Vlaychev, and before we start with the topic, I give the word to you to present yourself. Alex?
Thank you, Tanya. I'm principal software engineer in Scale Focus, especially data engineer, but according to the topic of our session today, I prefer to present myself as a passionate professional about data, person who loves data, who tries to understand everything about data and to give them meaning about the data to other people. So let's say I'm a simple data engineer, a person who loves data.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm Nikolay, senior database developer from Scale Focus. As a person who deals every day with data, I know how important is it. And in today's discussion, I hope that we can also bring this mindset to other people to understand that data it's all around us. It's up to you to make it meaningful and valuable for us.
Thank you, Nikki. So the discussion about the future of data is not just talk about technology, but the conceptual, the philosophical, the business, the ethical aspects will become more important. And we know that the technology is developing really fast, sometimes even faster than its adoption, and this is posing some challenges in front of us. And the future of data depends on how we handle these challenges today. So let's start from the beginning, from the creation of data. So everything is creating data. Do we need more data, Alex?
Again, ladies first, okay? I will start. Actually, I don't know the answer to this question because nowadays we have adopted many different technologies about this, how to create data. This IoT world, the concept of blockchain, the new AI generative concept that creates data that are not real but synthetic. We experience interesting days. We have data. We generate data every second, every hour, every day. But the question, are they meaningful for us? Can we understand the data? Can we extract more knowledge? Actually, is something very important for me. Because trying to understand data, trying to work with different clients and their data, sometimes we can see that more data does not mean more knowledge. More data does not mean that we understand our business better. More data does not mean that we are better in our everyday lives. So, talking about the future, it's interesting to say more data we need because we are humans. And because we are humans, we need to develop ourselves, we need to go further, we need to create something. And for this part of the mankind, who is very creative and needs to invent something to understand the world, this part of the mankind needs more data. But I'm curious about the other part of the mankind. If this more data are useful and if this more data actually produce more chaos in our business and everyday life rather than produce something useful.
Yeah, I'm also in the mindset that we don't have choice because the way how we live today, we generate data by the system that we have, by the media, by everything that we set up. So it's not the question if we need to generate more, but how to handle this one that we have now. And in the near future, it's clear that it will have even more. So it's good moment to start thinking how to manage it. Because, the volume is here, but it becomes even more difficult to get some insights from it.
Nikki, you sound like we are not able to stop this snowball. We will generate more data, we will generate more data.
Yeah.
This is not stoppable.
Yeah, in my opinion, we don't have a choice because you must be not social, isolated from the world, and this I don't think is solution for common human. Yeah, so.
Okay, but if we are talking about data storage, what volume of data we need to make decisions?
So, in my opinion, in terms of storage, we have been having a huge progress. So we have the capacity. Even that we go further, our abilities to process it. It's like having a library without bookshelves. So you have just an empty room that physically you can store your books, so your data, on top of each other. But if you need to find something, it costs you a lot of efforts and a lot of time to get it. Now as we have a lot of volume, yes, it will be necessary to take it into consideration, but it will be having twice the effort to get meaningful information and to see what we are looking for.
Yes, about the storage, Tanya, we have two different aspects. The first one is where we are today about the technologies that we have invented and adopted. Why I'm saying this? Nowadays, we can say we have a huge success in the field of technologies about how to store data, about these big data technologies, about the quantum computing as technology, not for storage, but for data processing, to be more precise. We are successful. We have succeeded in this field to have powerful technologies, how to store a large volume of data, but still we have challenges.
Is not something
terabyte is not huge amount of data
anymore. Yeah.
This T was a scary amount years ago. Yeah. Now we think about another letters, not about T. T is something that we have in our everyday life, in our houses, in our homes. But still, we experience some difficulties, some challenges about the data storage technologies, and we need something different because this snowball data generation is unstoppable, and this volume will increase further. And here in the field of data, in the computer science, in the practical achievements, we have interesting ideas about DNA storage, about hologram storage. About this DNA, something very interesting, and I think here we can open an interesting new path, a new way of thinking, how we can steal some ideas from the nature, how to solve social and business cases, because
we are already stealing from nature.
Are already stealing.
Like
okay, maybe this is a good direction.
For example, yeah.
Yes, how to maybe the nature gives us some interesting, already existing ideas. Our main effort will be how to adopt this idea. So, about the technologies in the field of storage, we are successful. We are able to store many data, but as Nikki said, we need another powerful idea. We have stored data, but how to process them, how to use them, and how to make more insights, how to create more insights from this data.
Yeah, so we will be able to learn something from the data that we have, or we will get lost in it.
Yes, I will still
because of the volume.
This beautiful metaphor about the library. When you have two shelves with books, you are able to read these books. But if you have many shelves, you should be very passionate with interest about the details, so to be able to read all these things. And our challenge in the future with data will be this one, not how to store them, but how to use them.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting about the usage of data, or maybe we need to to know how to search easier, faster in this huge amounts of data. Okay, but what about the data privacy? Do we need to protect the data?
Nikki, me or you?
I can start and you can continue. Yeah.
Okay.
About the data privacy, it's a very interesting topic from a lot of aspects. So first, it's very important for business, and they put a lot of efforts to anonymize data, to secure it with different modern ways. But also we have a privacy of our personal data, because the way we are living, we also expose a lot of data that it's maybe interconnected with our professional lives or our everyday lives. And in terms of privacy, it's not what we do, but also what we think about. Because what I see as some of my friends, that they don't think about it. And it's a little bit scary because they expose a lot of data and they find themselves as victims to be followed or to be targeted, but they do it for themselves. So we might starting also have kind of education about how to secure our data.
How to protect our data, actually.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alex?
This topic about the privacy is actually the moment that I will steal the sentence from your introduction about that the discussion about the data is not only technology, this discussion about the technology. Here comes the question, actually, where is the dog hidden? Because about technology, we have many different ideas how to protect something. And most of these ideas are successful. But the problem comes not with this, which of these technologies to be used in our particular case, business or personal. The question comes here, how the social behavior of humans and the business behavior of corporation actually changes nowadays. Because nowadays we experience something very interesting. The laws and all these compliance documents, they try to protect our data, but our social behavior actually expose this data without any boundaries.
Do you think that we need other regulations or
I'm
something?
not sure that the regulation is the solution, because the regulation should run very fast, and I'm not sure that this regulation can watch and research our behavior so fast, so to be able to be up to date to human behavior. Because the regulation says your EGN is not okay to be shown everywhere. Your pictures, dear people, are something that is very important not to be shown everywhere. But if you look at social networks or whatever is platforms, you can see that actually the behavior of people is something very specific nowadays, and more important, changes very fast. And that's why the problem with the privacy is not technology problem. At different levels, at the storage level, at the presentation levels, at the usage level. When I say usage level, I mean technologies, how to present data, to use them. We have many powerful ideas, but actually the problem is quite different. And because I'm a data engineer and I prefer the word of technology, I work with technology, actually I'm confused because often we have to solve problem with technologies, but actually the problem is not technology problem. Yeah. And that's why all professionals in the field of data engineers, data science, I will switch a little bit from the topic, they should adapt themselves because our responsibilities nowadays, they are a little bit changed. We are not only technology people. We need to think for other aspects like this privacy, because we need to find out solutions that can adopt this different behavior, can be scalable according to something else, not volumes, about behaviors. It's quite different, and I think the professional development as a data engineers became something very, very interesting nowadays.
Oh, definitely, and well, it's even difficult sometimes to answer the question who owns the data, who is the owner of the data. So we are talking about data privacy, but we should define first who is the owner of the data. So, what do you think about this? Because you have something that creates a data for you. So. Who is then the owner of this data? Are you the owner, or it's the company that created the technology?
Depends how, and it depends how you apply this technology. If you take, for example, IoTs, so IoTs, you can stick to what is ready for use, and what information these sensors, no matter it's a sensor for light, for temperature, for some kind of movement, they are stocked directly to the manufacturer. And this is the paradox that the data that is linked to you, it's owned by someone else. But you also, if you have the knowledge how to do it, you can change this pattern and you can develop it so you can transfer this data to your personal server, to your personal storage. So here we need to be very conscious and very careful how we gather this data and where we put it, because it's easy to create. After that, it's difficult to trace it and to handle it if it's not think from the beginning.
Yeah, it's easy to create, it's easy to store it, it's easy to copy it, and then
but not so.
What guarantees that your data is really yours?
Yeah, and basically it's same if you compare to use some platform, so you agree that your data will be owned by this company creating the platform. No matter it's a social media or it's a public service, sometimes you don't have a choice. But when you have the freedom to design it, it's better to take this into consideration, because ownership is the first step to have a better management.
Yeah. Alex, what do you think about the ownership of the data?
The first thing that I wanted to say was quite different, but because Nikki said something, the first thing, it's very interesting that nowadays we have to think about ownership at all for something that describes ourselves, our pictures, our personal data. But it's interesting, Nikki, you said something, that nowadays maybe it's a very expensive to own your own data. And it's a very confusing situation. You have something, but you are not able to own these things. You cannot protect them, according to the previous topics about the privacy. And this changes the world of technology also, or maybe vice versa. The world of technology changes the idea of ownership. All these cloud solutions, all these, for example, blockchain initiatives, they change the idea who owns the data, because we are not able to store them, we are not able to protect them, and actually...
Or to track what is happening with this data.
Yes, or to track what is happening with this data. So, because we are not able to do all these things, actually we lose the opportunity to own our own things. It sounds confusing like a sentence to say in this way. About the ownership, the world of technology creates the problem, and the world of regulation still is not good enough, do not provide enough regulation, and we are not able to say which belongs to me, which belongs to ourselves, to corporates or to other people. This is a typical example about the speed in different lanes. The technologies create a world with another reality, and here we as data engineers, as a lawyers, we are not able to respond to this very high speed. And this question about the ownership will become very important next days. Because the ownership and the privacy, they live together. Maybe one of the scenario is just to refuse to have a private world and everything to be public. And there the question about ownership is not important. The question about the privacy is not important. This is the same thing. It depends on our behavior, what we consider as a private. Because the law says this is private, but actually we behave in a quite different way. So the ownership for me is something very interesting. And as I said, as a data engineer, because I spent a lot of time using technologies, I spent time to find out solutions using technologies. Often in the information system is something very traditional as a way how to use data. The ownership will become, it's a very interesting, it will not become, it's already very interesting question, because it reflects on this, what kind of technologies to choose, cloud or on-premise. This makes our information system architecture different, not because the technology is interesting or provides a special functionality, but because we need to consider the ownership and the privacy of data. That's why I said we are not only technology people nowadays.
Maybe it's but maybe the ownership is defined by the possibility to choose. If you can choose whether to share your data or to keep it protected and only for yourself, then it's yours.
If we are able to choose,
what can guarantee this choice? Nowadays, the data is also considered as a business. So many people say that data is the new oil. It's really important, and some companies even decide to monetize their data, to sell it. So maybe they're selling their own data, maybe they're selling our data. We cannot know for sure. Is data a gold mine, or it's a nightmare when talking about privacy?
I think one of the training that I took as a personal interest, I found out that to be able to find the correct data, you can buy it. And often, I think it's more the American way of thinking that data science comes with a set of data sets. So you're not buying people's skills only, but you're also buying the data that they collected. So something that it's coming to as a trend. For people that need to make money, it's a gold mine for sure. And here, if I may make a link with the previous topic, data as a business is something that will come naturally. We cannot escape it, but we may start thinking about regulations that are way fall behind all that behavior that it's emerging. So data is value is the money. So we don't have a choice, but we may start thinking how to make it regular, like rules, to not sell something that is sensitive. It may be quite useful sometimes if it's anonymized, if you just presenting some trending, some way of general usage, something like this. It depends. It really depends. But also it can be like espionage. It's not something new. People trade with information way before. Just now it becomes very easy and with so much more volume in a bigger scale than previous. So
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, well, the data can be a powerful weapon if you know how to read it, how to extract some information, meaningful information for you, and if you know how to use it. Yeah. So, Alex, what do you think?
I think actually one sentence comes in my mind. With Nikki, it's obvious that we are engineers, data engineers. So we think in the way we need equations, we need algorithms. We have something, this thing can be sold, we can monetize that we own. I'm a little bit confused because of my age. I have many years of professional experience. The first years when I start to work with data, the only thing that I had in mind that I work with a resource. Data is only a resource. A few years ago, I have experienced something very different, that I work with a treasure. That's something that should be hidden, that should be protected. And like in fairy tale, we are very interesting, special people that should protect the treasure of our companies. Nowadays, we should think about the data.
The dragons protecting the treasure.
For example, we need dragons to protect our data. Okay. And saying dragons, we have dragons. Technology dragons we have. But our kings, it's interesting what they want to be protected, actually. If they want to put dragons before the doors, or they agree to open the door. And nowadays, I should think about the data as something that can be sold. And the last thing is very scary, something that can be a very powerful weapon. And this actually will change the world of technology in the way to invent more agile technology, so they to be able to adapt themselves to different situations, because the world changes very fast. And many of the ideas that we have to protect data should be more agile, because today and tomorrow we have a quite different reality. And I'm curious, next days as a data engineer, what I will experience about data. Resource, treasure, stock, now weapon, what will be the next nature of data. And I often think about this. Data for us are bytes, strings, values, but many of the things that happens today try to provoke our minds to think about the data in a different way. Maybe in a more conceptual way, maybe all these science people from computer science fields or whatever, they should provide another definition about data. Because the current definition of data is not enough. The data is not only bytes,
it's
strings.
Behavior.
It's something more, and we need to add this definition, more things, so to be able to define the whole thing, the whole technology environment that we should create, so to be able to cover all these topics. Creation, storage, privacy, to manage the ownership, if we need to manage the ownership. Actually, that's why I think we need another definition. I know that this sounds very abstract, and maybe it's something that will be interesting for scientific people to define, but the technology world, to be able to adapt to the reality, we need to consider that the data means something more. It's not only that can be represented as zeros and ones as a data. And as Nikki said, behavior, business, social, and many things.
Options,
And we also have already the AI, which is also creating data. Can we say that this data is artificial or synthetic, or is it real data, and how it will change our thinking about data and our way to use to use the data, really.
the first thing that we should say about the AI, that the AI, it's a data vampire.
Yeah.
These things consumes data in such volumes that actually AI is one of the reasons that we will not stop this snowball, this data generation, because this thing will continue to be developed to create benefit, added value to our society, to our business when we have more data, and this makes like a circle, like something that is unstoppable. This dilemma, because for me it's a very controversial conversation, what kind of data we consume. Let's change a little bit the topic. Maybe the same question, what we consume, real or synthetic, it's a relevant question to every sphere of our life. Our food, our clothes, or whatever. And now the same problem is here with the data, what we consume. And here, the question is not about the technology. The question is what kind of professional people, what kind of people at all our education system will produce if they will have enough critical thinking, so to be able to distinguish the real and the synthetic one. I will not use the word fake because it sounds very strong, but AI, it's very interesting. This idea, we had this discussion with Nikki before our conversation, why AI needs to generate data, because we do not have enough data produced by the real life systems, or the conversation was because all these data are not accessible, they are very well hidden because of the privacy, because the owner will not agree to provide this data. Why actually AI needs to generate data?
Yeah, so the AI hallucinates, as they say. It's a
very possible scenario. If you don't learn your machine learning model quite enough, it's becoming hallucinating. It's some of the biases that many developers try to avoid. And this is from one side that not all the data is available, and from the other side that it's our understanding sometimes is not complete. We have just a piece of the information, how it works. And when we try to make it work in another way without understanding all the parameters, this is very possible, I don't say mistake, but scenario that you can experience.
Yeah,
to be fooled by the creation that you made.
Yeah.
And as Alex says, it's crucial to start introducing this kind of system to detect which one is trusty and which one should be checked, no matter is it fake news, synthetic data, or even AI-generated responses. Maybe we come from a generation that always double-check before believe it, but I know that the kids that coming to our places take it for granted. And they take it for granted because before the system was double-checked, but right now we're introducing a new player, so we have to do this effort again and again.
And the end user cannot be sure that can trust the AI answer. And this is what Alex said about the critical thinking. So it's really important to have this
crucial one. It's not to know everything, but to ask yourself, is it a valid one? How I can verify that? So trying to find the source. It's like a code debugging. When you have something that it's working not as you're supposed to do, you start looking at the details until you find the root cause. And it's something that we need to start thinking about when we consume some of the data, because as you say, a lot of content is generated by AI. And yeah, it's up to us to make the distinguish which is real and which is some kind synthetic, let's say like that.
Yeah, but AI is relatively young, and it will evolve. And it will evolve fast. We will be able to adapt.
Without critical thinking, no. It will become something that will produce a fake reality, unreliable decisions. So AI is here, and we cannot say that this thing is not there and it's forbidden to be used. It's nonsense as idea at whole. But I do not agree with you that AI is something very young. AI actually is something very old as a concept.
As a concept, yes.
But the only reason that today we have all these AI tools, because nowadays we only have tools, all these thinking things, maybe they will be the next player in our play. But because we have data, all these beautiful, on my opinion, because I love data and technologies about data, all these beautiful things, how to generate, how to store, how to use data, they are the reason that AI rises as a phoenix from the ashes. But the future of AI is bright only we are critical thinking people. The future with AI, not the future of AI, the future with AI is not so bright if we refuse to think, if we accept only to consume the result of all these things. Because we have here one paradox, and the paradox is the following. We need knowledge so to be able to distinguish real or synthetic. But how to gain this knowledge? How to extract this knowledge from data? We need all these technologies, and sometimes I'm very confused. We need data to produce something, and this thing produce data that we will use again. Then as you see, I'm not quite good to express this in human language. What kind of circle in what kind of circle actually we live? But let's return to your question. The future with AI depends on our behavior, depends on our critical thinking, and maybe it's not so bad to have synthetic data.
Yeah.
It's
also it depends of our curiosity. If there is people who are curious to start getting to how it works, basically, and not take it for granted, we can develop it. We can make it better. So yeah, one is critical thinking and another one is curiosity.
And I will return the conversation a few minutes to something that we said a few minutes ago. It's very important that nowadays we need to define the word of data in a different way. Not only what is data, but many of the terms that we use should be redefined. What I mean to something to be redefined. Actually, the question about real and synthetic data, about data produced by information system, IoT devices or whatever, or data generated by AI, is something that we know already as a question. And the question is about this, how reliable are our data? And few years ago, when the AI were only a concept, not real tools, the problem with about the quality of our data was something that, it's something very important in all our data projects. But there, the responsibility about the quality was responsibility of our data engineers. We always were guilty. We always
disagree with this.
This is my emotional explanation. When we work in projects about BI, about data warehouses, all these projects where we try to extract knowledge from data, the responsibility to create reliable data was our responsibility. People were responsible about the quality. People were responsible how reliable is the source of something. Now we changed the game. We have a game changer, and today the responsibility.
We have a new player.
We have a new player.
Not only people, but we have AI.
And actually, a technology that is created by the people will be responsible about the source that we will use in our system for knowledge extraction, whatever is the system. And again, this circle, again, about the beginning and the end, we are not able to distinguish where something ends and something begins in our play.
Yeah, we definitely live in interesting time, and yeah, we need to adapt really fast and to think, to be curious, to be thinking in order to be able to handle the technology evolution.
Yes, as you said, the technology is there. We have many interesting technology ideas, and we as software engineers, we have a different task, we have a different responsibility today. It's not only to choose the technology, but also to consider many different things, many different aspects from our world. And as I said, this makes our positions, our life very interesting nowadays, but needs to be curious about more things, not only about the technology. Because thinking only about the technology, we will live in the traditional information system, we will produce system that will be not able to consume and to produce something meaningful and beneficial for the society and the business with all our technology efforts, actually.
Yeah. So the future is it's not an utopia and it's not a dystopia, but yeah, but really the choice is ours.
Yes, I believe that the choice is ours, but to keep this possibility to choose something, we need to develop our minds. We need to adapt the technologies. We need to understand the world, something that we
to stay open
to stay open. Yes,
and to not forget that quite often technology is going faster than the society. So sometimes we have to be the ambassadors to explain how something works, so that they be aware of possible traps or misleadings. So we have a new engagement to align the technologies and how people think about it and how they use it. Because we only prepare it for them. It's they consume it, and we also have to teach them how to consume it correctly.
And maybe it's time to realize that these digital illusions, that all technologies in the field of data processing and management, they solve problems. Actually, we need to say that nowadays all this technology actually
are creating
problems. Yes, not always technology problems. Problems that need another way of thinking, another needs curiosity, critical thinking, so to be able to adapt all these challenges that are around us.
But we here, we love solving problems, so
of course
it's something good for us.
Maybe we are bored already, that's why we use technology to produce problems, because we don't have enough problems and we need something more.
We are afraid that we don't have enough problems, so
Okay, so thank you, Nikki and Alex. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and that's all. Thanks.